Scene opens with dramatic breaking news graphics. The WNBA Commissioner's office is shown, then cuts to the U.S. Capitol. Text flashes, Congress versus WNBA. The government is watching. The WNBA is under federal scrutiny. And Commissioner Cathy Engelbert is feeling the heat. A group of 11 Republican lawmakers, led by Texas Congressman August Pfluger, has sent a blistering letter to Engelbert demanding answers about the physical treatment of Caitlin Clark. Their message? Clean it up, or we'll investigate. The lawmakers are threatening to involve the Department of Justice, the Department of Labor, and the EEOC, claiming the league's failure to protect Clark could constitute federal civil rights violations. And the political stakes couldn't be higher. Because this isn't just about basketball anymore. This is about Trump-era politics, culture wars, and a star player caught in the middle. What did the letter say? Why is Engelbert panicking? And what does this mean for Caitlin Clark, the WNBA, and the future of women's sports? Yanni, buckle up, because the government is about to take the court. The letter that shook the WNBA. Scene opens with the congressional letter on screen. Names like Pfluger, Nunn, Burchett, and Sparts flash across. The camera zooms in on the key demands. The letter sent to Commissioner Engelbert is scathing. It accuses the WNBA of failing to protect its biggest star from repeated acts of unnecessary physical hostility and violence. The lawmakers specifically cited multiple incidents. Clark being hip-checked, Clark being poked in the eye, Clark being struck in the throat by Alyssa Thomas. They're demanding answers by July 24, 2026 on 3 key questions. 1. What review mechanism does the league use for physical hostility on the court? 2. How will the WNBA hold players accountable for overly aggressive actions? 3. What steps are being taken to protect players from online harassment and off-court threats? The letter also makes a political bombshell claim that some of the attacks on Clark may be racially motivated. Representative August Pfluger wrote on X, "I'm putting the league on notice that if it keeps letting the violent targeting slide, they could find themselves facing a DOJ and EEOC crackdown for violating federal civil rights law." Representative Zach Nunn of Iowa, whose district includes Clark's hometown, added, "She's earned the right to compete without being unfairly punched, shoved, and targeted while the league that makes $1 billion off her name looks the other way." And Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee went even further, calling the treatment of Clark thug-like violence. The message is clear. Congress is watching, and they're not happy. Engelbert's dilemma, caught between 2 fires. Scene opens with Cathy Engelbert at a press conference. She looks visibly uncomfortable. The camera zooms in on her face as she's pressed about the congressional scrutiny. Commissioner Engelbert is in a no-win situation. On one side, Congress demanding action and threatening federal investigations. On the other side, WNBA players, including veterans, who insist the physicality is just part of the game. Engelbert has previously downplayed the idea that Clark is being targeted. In an earlier interview, she said, "I think everybody's watching Caitlin, so they're focused only on Caitlin. But when you look across other games with other players, it's a physical game." That statement has not aged well, because now the league is facing a potential DOJ investigation over workplace safety and civil rights violations. And Engelbert is already on thin ice with players. Just weeks ago, Alyssa Thomas called her out for remaining silent while players faced death threats and online harassment. After Thomas spoke out, Engelbert released a statement. The WNBA vehemently condemns any and all forms of hate. The safety and well-being of everyone in our community is always the league's top priority. But Thomas wasn't satisfied. She said, "Time and time again, players are going through this, and the league remains silent. So I'm sick and tired of it. It's time for them to stand up and have our backs." Now, with Congress breathing down her neck, Engelbert has even more pressure to act. But what can she do? If she cracks down too hard on physicality, she alienates veteran players who see it as part of the game's identity. If she does nothing, she risks federal intervention. And if she targets specific players, she faces accusations of bias. This is a political minefield, and Engelbert is walking right through it. The Fever's response: "We didn't ask for this." Scene opens with the Indiana Fever practice facility. Players are going through drills. The camera cuts to a statement from the organization. The Indiana Fever have made one thing crystal clear. They didn't ask for this. In an official statement, the Fever said, "Our organization nor Caitlin have had any interaction with anyone in this congressional group, and we were unaware of their letter." The team emphasized that while they support players' safety, they weren't involved in the political maneuvering. "We have been clear in our public comments and in our ongoing dialogue with the league about the priority of players' safety. Our players and our fans know where we stand on those issues, and we will continue to stick up for our team and a standard of excellence across the league. This is a careful balancing act. The Fever don't want to alienate the league or other players, but they also can't ignore the fact that their star player is being targeted. And the numbers don't lie. Clark draws 6.7 fouls per game, the fourth most in the WNBA. Her economic impact is estimated at nearly $1 billion, 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity. The Fever are caught in the middle. They want to protect their superstar, but they don't want to be used as a political football. Unfortunately for them, that ship has already sailed. The players are divided, veterans push back. Scene opens with a montage of WNBA veterans speaking out. Some defend the physicality. Others call for change. The divide is clear. The congressional intervention has split the WNBA locker rooms. Some veterans see the letter as an attack on the league's culture. Do I think it was a flagrant? Not at all. But I also grew up in an era where it's very physical, and this was the least of what I would consider a flagrant too, said veteran Sydney Colson. Others are more sympathetic to Clark's situation. Sophie Cunningham, Clark's teammate, revealed what opposing players were saying behind closed doors. "Even when I wasn't on her team, I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room. No, we're going to show her what the W really is. And I get it to a certain extent, but there's just more for her. Now being on her team and seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? Actually, it's just too much." The tension is real. Because now, every hard foul on Clark is magnified. Every missed call is scrutinized. Every veteran is under a microscope. And some players are furious that the league's physicality has become a political issue. One anonymous player told a reporter, "This isn't about race. This isn't about discrimination. This is basketball. And people who don't like it can watch something else." But the congressmen aren't backing down. And as long as Clark continues to take hits, the political pressure will only intensify. What happens now? The future of the WNBA hangs in the balance. Scene opens with a wide shot of a WNBA arena. The crowd is roaring. But the camera lingers on the tension, the debates, the controversy, the scrutiny. Text appears. The game has changed. So where does this leave the WNBA? For things are clear. First, the DOJ investigation is a real threat. The lawmakers have demanded answers by July 24th. If the WNBA doesn't respond adequately, they've promised to support investigations by the Justice Department, Labor Department, and EEOC. Second, Commissioner Engelbert is under immense pressure. She's caught between Congress, the players, and the public. Every move she makes will be scrutinized. Third, the culture war is here. Caitlin Clark has become a political symbol, whether she asked for it or not. Conservatives have embraced her as a victim of thug-like violence. Progressives see the congressional intervention as racist coddling. Fourth, the players are stuck in the middle. Veterans who built this league feel disrespected. Young players feel targeted. And the entire league is being dragged into a political debate that has nothing to do with basketball. Caitlin Clark herself has tried to stay above the fray. She condemned the harassment that Alyssa Thomas received after the throat incident. Harassment, hate, none of that is okay. That goes for the opposing teams we play. That goes for my teammates. That goes for my coaches. There should never be question of character. But Clark's words may not be enough. Because this isn't about her anymore. It's about power. It's about politics. It's about the future of the WNBA. And the league is at a crossroads. Protect its players or lose control to the government. Yanni, the clock is ticking. And the entire basketball world is watching.